Welcome back to our channel. You've probably heard about Cain, the first person to commit murder in human history. According to the Bible, Cain left the presence of God and his father Adam and went to live in another land. This land has sparked many questions and theories about its location. Some people believe that Cain settled in a place called Nod. So, what's the truth behind all of this? In this video, I'll explore the history of the land of Nod, Cain's wife, and other related aspects. Please remember to like and share this video with those who are interested in gaining a deeper understanding of the scriptures. The land of Nod and the mystery of Cain's destiny. The fascinating story from the Book of Genesis tells us that Adam and Eve had a son named Cain. Most of us are familiar with the tragic tale of Cain, the world's first murderer. He heartlessly killed his own brother Abel and then ran away from his family and from God. Despite cursing him, God still loved his firstborn and placed a mark on him for protection, ensuring that he wouldn't be harmed by others. However, many questions arise regarding what happened to Cain after he received this mark and fled. He went to a place called Nod, which has led to various theories and speculations. Some internet theories suggest that Nod was inhabited by a civilization that existed before Adam and Eve, but this is a misinterpretation of the sacred text. These theories often stem from a lack of understanding of the Aramaic and Hebrew languages used in the writings of the Book of Genesis. In the Book of Genesis chapter 4 verses 16 and 17, it tells us the following story. Cain left the presence of the Lord and went to live in a place called the land of Nod, which was on the east side of Eden. While in the land of Nod, Cain married a woman, and they had a son named Enoch. Cain also built a city and named it after his son, Enoch. Different interpretations arise when the text mentions Cain's departure to the land of Nod. Some mistakenly believe that Nod was a person created by God before Adam, with a family and a lineage connected to the Garden of Eden. These theories, however, lack biblical support and suggest that Nod was an inhabitant located east of the Garden of Eden, with a daughter who became Cain's wife. It's important to note that such interpretations are solely based on the mention of Cain meeting his wife in the land of Nod. These interpretations overlook the meaning of the Hebrew and Aramaic terms used in the biblical text. When it says that Cain knew his wife in the land of Nod, it signifies a sexual relationship according to biblical terminology. Therefore, Cain had relations with this woman, and they had a son named Enoch. It's crucial not to confuse this Enoch with the Enoch from Seth's lineage, as they come from entirely different family lines. In the Bible, there are two enigmatic figures named Enoch. The first one is a descendant of Adam, the seventh in line, the son of Jared, and the father of Methuselah. Later on, the same name, Enoch, is associated with a son of Cain who had a city named after him. Despite sharing the same name and being figures from the Old Testament, their stories have different contexts. According to tradition, the first Enoch lived for 365 years before being taken up to heaven, both in body and soul, to be close to God. The second Enoch, on the other hand, was honored with a city named after him and had a son named Irad. Additionally, there are 3 books attributed to each Enoch as their authors. However, there is controversy surrounding whether they were the actual authors or simply the inspiration behind the recorded passages. It is suggested that the first book contains fragments of his words that were orally transmitted before being officially recorded, but that's a topic for another video. If you're interested in a video about Enoch or the Book of Enoch, let us know in the comments. Many people often get confused when trying to understand the reality presented in the sacred text regarding Cain's wife and son. The truth is that Cain was already married, or at least involved with a woman who accompanied him. This woman appears to have been one of his sisters, as suggested by various ancient texts considered authentic in ancient Judaism, such as the Book of Jubilees. The Book of Jubilees is an ancient text that is not included in the canon of the Hebrew Bible or the Christian Bible. It belongs to the category of apocryphal or cephal literature, meaning it was written during the period between the Old and New Testaments, likely in the 2nd century BC. This book is called Jubilees because it recounts the story of the world from creation to the revelation of the law, Torah, to Moses on Mount Sinai in cycles of Jubilees, which are 49-year periods. It provides additional details and expands on certain events mentioned in the Bible, offering a reinterpretation of biblical history. The Book of Jubilees was originally written in Hebrew, but has been preserved in complete form in Ethiopian as well as fragments in Greek and Latin. It presents a theological and chronological perspective of Jewish history, emphasizing the observance of religious precepts, including dietary laws, purification practices, and religious festivals. Additionally, the Book of Jubilees places a strong focus on the role of Moses as the intermediary between God and the children of Israel. It offers various interpretations of biblical events, providing a unique perspective on Jewish history and religion. While not universally recognized as canonical by all Jewish and Christian traditions, the Book of Jubilees holds canonical status within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Within the tradition of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, this book is accepted as part of the Holy Scriptures. It is included in the canon of Scriptures, regarded as authorized and sacred for the faith and practices of Ethiopian Orthodox believers. Therefore, for adherents of this tradition, the Book of Jubilees carries religious authority and is considered a divinely inspired text. In the Book of Jubilees, it is mentioned that Cain's wife was named An, identifying her as one of Adam and Eve's daughters, potentially born before Cain. Interestingly, when Eve gives birth to Cain, she expresses gratitude to God, highlighting that she finally had a son. This statement implies that Eve had given birth to daughters prior to Cain's birth. While some may question this interpretation, the text allows for such a possibility, particularly considering Eve's relief upon having a son. The Bible itself mentions that Adam and Eve had both sons and daughters, indicating the existence of other descendants alongside Cain and Abel. Therefore, according to certain interpretations, Cain likely married one of his sisters, as it was an early era where such practices were not uncommon. However, many individuals still question and assert that Cain went to settle in a place called the land of Nod, which they believe to be a person. Unfortunately, due to their lack of understanding of Hebrew and Aramaic, they end up formulating various misconceptions. It is essential to grasp that Nod is actually a term that describes a land with a significant meaning, wandering in Hebrew. The Bible even mentions that this place is located east of Eden, indicating that Cain journeyed to the eastern region as a wanderer, quite literally. The term Nod itself means to wander the earth, signifying a person without a clear direction or path. Its etymology suggests that it is derived from the Hebrew verb meaning to wander, implying someone who moves about or travels without a fixed dwelling. Therefore, residing in the land of Nod essentially represents a state of roaming through different places without a permanent home. In his work Antiquities of the Jews, written in 93 AD, the historian Flavius Josephus recounts that during his aimless wanderings, Cain persisted in his wickedness. He resorted to violence and theft, established systems of weights and measures, and turned innocent society into one characterized by cunning and deceit. Cain also marked out property boundaries and constructed a fortified city in honor of his firstborn son Enoch, while engaging his other sons and daughters. By understanding the Hebrew and Aramaic terms involved, we can arrive at a more coherent interpretation. Additionally, we can draw comparisons with other ancient Semitic languages like Assyrian and Akkadian, which were spoken by Semitic figures such as Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Moses. In Assyrian and Akkadian, the term Nod, or land of Nod, is translated as Nadu, which means neglect or living without direction. Consequently, the land of Nod is understood as a place where one wanders purposelessly, neglecting their responsibilities and lacking a sense of purpose. This interpretation reveals that Nod is not a person's name, but rather the designation for a region east of the Garden of Eden, or even a description of someone who aimlessly wanders, neglecting their duties. Therefore, Cain, by choosing the path of cruelty and spiritual neglect, deviated from God's teachings. If you are familiar with these interpretations, please share your thoughts in the comments and let us know your opinion on the video. May God bless you, and we'll see you soon.